everybody. Oh boy. Oh yeah, it's been a long while since we last did a show like this on the NRE Wrestleverse Podcast. But personal life, responsibilities, and all that stuff happened, and then I got burnt out making 2 podcasts for a little bit, and I was trying to figure out how to work that out. That didn't work out so well, so I took an extended break from the YouTube stuff, and I focused on my NRC podcast channel, had to focus on that a little bit, just to catch up on all that stuff. Then I got burned out on that, then work happened, and then some dramas happened, and I don't want to talk about that, because if I do, I'll go crazy again, and I don't want to talk about my personal life on the internet when it comes to work matters. But more or less, I'm hoping things are improving for myself on that. We'll see. Oh, God. But, yeah, there was plans to do an episode 9 of this podcast, and then all that stuff happened. And I was going to talk about some stuff, but naturally, months have passed. In fact, the last episode was back on May, the official episode, not those bonus contents I had that were using my footage from what I've done for the shows. But, yeah, I'm back now, and a lot of stuff has happened in this week. And this is only the first half of the week that I'm covering, since to cover 50 stories would be crazy. I already do that enough as is with the collective podcast. But there was an interesting story to start this off, and when I heard this, I was like, okay, I gotta tell you, I kind of sat on this for a huge moment. I have not made a tweet about it because I just didn't know how to respond to hearing this, but we have an update from Fightful Select, more specifically Fightful asking about the whole situation regarding Roman Reigns' title run. And he is now the 4th longest world champion in WWE history, with a victory over his cousin Jey Uso at SummerSlam 2023. His run will be going on for even longer, and we don't know what his future holds. Many have actually wondered, and Fightful Select have provided some information on this, including Sean Rossap, and yeah, here's what came out. The report stated that Cody Rhodes, Sane, and Jey Uso were never under serious consideration to dethrone Roman, with the results being known a fair amount of time in advance. Fightful would go on to directly ask a WWE source about when Roman Reigns would be losing. So they said this: when we bluntly asked when Roman Reigns will lose the WWE Undisputed World Championship, they were given this they were given this response: whatever Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman say, it effing ends. So in the event that Roman Reigns loses the world title, it was said that the two would have a heavy input as to who would that be, whether it would be tonight or a year or two down from the line, and they are constantly looking at every possibility. When they think it's the very best thing for business, they'll know when to switch it up, do it right, and really make someone doing it the higher up indicated. I'm gonna be real, I sat on this for a little bit because I was like, you gave Roman Reigns that level of power. I mean, I'm all for wrestlers having creative freedom, but giving creative control like that is kind of a bad idea nowadays. Ain't that right, Hulk Hogan and John Cena, who buried the Nexus because stupid petty reasons that make no sense to this day? But, yeah, when I heard this, I sat on this because I was like, okay, this has to be, like, there has to be more to this, right? It can't just be put Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman have such a massive influence in the booking department that they could dictate that, right? They don't really have that power, right? And nothing else contradicts that vibe, because that's the only way I could take from that. And I sat on this, and I'm thinking, so you don't have anyone in mind. No one in mind is capable of ending the reign. So Cody Rhodes was never considered. Sami Zayn was never considered. Jey Uso was never considered. And despite Cody Rhodes, Sami, and Jey, well, mostly Cody and Sami, rebounding as best they can from the whole thing, Cody Rhodes the most beneficial because he actually got a feud with Brock Lesnar that, while never giving us an explanation as to why this feud even happened, which grinds my gears. Sami Zayn at least made a Mania with the tag titles, but like, was it just that hard to just separate the titles, let Roman keep the Universal belt, and then let Cody or Sammy take the World belt? Was that really hard to do? Like, the option was there. You've done it before. Triple H worked in that time frame when that was a thing. But now you've just the way this is worded, it sounds like Roman Reigns has the title basically in a firm grip where he will dictate where it has to. Like, if the rest of everyone agrees to it, but Roman and Paul Heyman say no, we don't want to, then they're like, okay, we'll just let you do whatever you want then. And it's like, that worries me, because if Roman develops some ego level like Hogan and Cena had done, and yes, I'm still saying Cena had an ego because the Nexus, and as much as he likes to apologize for that, he never really went out of his way to fix it. He just made it worse. Like, he broke it, and like, he could have fixed it, but he decided, nah, I'll just break it more. So yeah, it was a thing for a time. So yeah, Roman is currently holding the title in a way that I don't agree with. And if this was just Vince and Triple H's mindset that they gotta keep the title for as long as they can, then fine, I'll complain, but at least it would be management's fault. But no, it's Roman and Paul Heyman having the say now. So anyways, Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes had the ending of their feud, which started from no explanation ever given to further no explanation ever given. It finally ended to a definitive end at SummerSlam, with Brock Lesnar shocking everyone by raising Cody Rhodes' hand in victory and respect. And I was confused by that, because I was like, does that usually happen? No, wait, that's never happened. And then it turns out that, so it came out that, Brock Lesnar had rose Cody Rhodes' hand up on his own intentions and not because he was told to in storyline. So Lesnar was shooting from the hip in this moment, so he was respecting Cody Rhodes genuinely. And then he also removed his gloves after suffering the defeat, and this would suggest Brock Lesnar would be gone for some time. But Dave Meltzer, so take it with a grain of salt, as always, Brock Lesnar is not done, for those who thought that perhaps taking his gloves off was the sign of something. And they said, no, he's advertised for Fastlane, so I don't know if that's when he returns. He's not going to be gone for a little while, is what I was told, but not a long while, whatever that means. So it's really more like maybe he's gone for a little bit, maybe he's not. He'll probably be back at Rumble or Mania season. Yeah, there's been push and pull on that front. But also on the subject of SummerSlam, Ronda Rousey. She's gone apparently for the time being and expected to go on a hiatus after her loss to Shayna Baszler. And heading into the feud, heading into the show, it looked like it was going to be a dark horse match of the night potentially, especially since they're going to fight in an MMA match. And yeah, it didn't go as well as everyone had hoped, and according to Dave Meltzer, Ronda and Shayna wasn't the best match, and there were issues between the creative and them as far as how it was going to go, and you don't have knockouts in an MMA fight and do 10 counts or whatever, but it's like you have some people stuck in one mentality of combat and others in another, and it I think it's kind of hurt that. And I'm just like, okay, why not? They could have made it a fight pit match. That would have made it more sense. But here's my honest opinion. Since WWE is going to be working with Endeavor as part of the big merger happening, which is now set to close in September, and cuts are expected, and Triple H is no longer on the board, so tragedy on all fronts. Here's my response. Why not just contact Endeavor to bring in an agent to help produce the match? Like, I don't know if that's against the rules of a merger, but like, in process, but like that what I would have done. Though of course I don't do the business world, I do the creative world in more side mindset. But yeah. So good news for everyone who was rooting for Io Sky, or Io Shirai as she's more popularly known as, but they needed to change her name because Vince had leftover ideas before he was forced out the first time, tragically. Sadly, he will not be out until he's probably dead, and I do not like to wish for that. Honestly, I wish he was arrested and put in cuffs, but that's a different subject. So, Io Sky won the women's title at SummerSlam. And yeah, Charlotte Flair, Asuka, and Bianca Belair had their match. Bianca won because of course, and she pinned Asuka because of course. Charlotte can't take the fall, even though she's clearly becoming more and more disillusioned as the days go by. Ever since Ric Flair's behavior got more erratic, and she was sort of on the receiving end a little bit of that reception. And I wouldn't be surprised if that caused a shift in her personality backstage-wise. This is just me throwing conjecture out there, but that's just my opinion. Io Sky had won the Money in the Bank contract on July 1st, cashed it in within 45 seconds, and won it within a 45-second match. And she celebrated with Dakota Kai and Bayley to go ahead and, celebrate this moment. And it came out, also on that, it was planned for some time. And hours before SummerSlam aired, Dakota Kai was actually contacted to arrive during the show, and she revealed this on Twitch. So yeah, it was a last-minute decision, and she barely made it to the Ford Field in time. This was supposed to be basically the big moment where they reunite and have this heartfelt moment for Io Sky. Like, we did it, we got it, Damage Control won, and Dakota Kai is back, even though she has a torn injury again. And she's not the only one with a torn injury. Sonya Deville, who's also currently one of the women's tag champs, is currently dealing with a torn ACL. Much to everyone's annoyance that the women's tag titles are forever cursed to injure people, and not like the cool curse where NXT's World Championship was more or less turning all the faces into heels for a time, or at least have heel tendencies. Remember when that was a creative thing they were going for, where they noticed, okay, how come every champion we've had in NXT so far turned into an insufferable jackass? Let's run with it. Whereas the women's tag titles have turned into, we're gonna just injure people in the process for somehow in some way. Or, cause backstage politics issues, but that's a different matter altogether. So, yeah, now Chelsea Green is searching for a new tag partner because Sonya Deville is with a torn ACL, so sucks for that. And she's trying to break the curse, which, come on, you can't break that. The only way you can break the curse is if you disband the tag team division and just make a secondary women's title. That would make the most sense. In fact, that was what everyone, even Triple H, reportedly wanted. But Vince was like, no, I need a better idea than that, because I'm Petty McMahon. So, right before the disbandment of the Usos, for pretty much the most part, the Bloodline Civil War split happened, and it led to a massive merch sales boost for the Usos, according to Fightful Select. And ever since the Usos have been selling incredibly well, you would think that they were sitting in second place on the merch charts. Also, one of the other top sellers on the merchandise sales is LA Knight. Yeah! And I'm just that guy sitting here. It's like, can you just give LA Knight Seth Rollins' title? I mean, we know he's not going to be the one to dethrone Roman, but it still would be pretty cool if he had the world title around his waist. In fact, you have a storyline baked in and do something different for the main roster shows, for Raw especially, instead of having Seth Rollins be the winner every single time when he's defending a title. How about you have LA Knight defeats Seth Rollins, then Damian Priest takes the title off of him with the cash-in, and then we can build to a Royal Rumble match between the two, and LA Knight gets his win back, wins the title, and then we get back to WrestleMania and have a tried and true storyline for him to close out the show on night one. Or be the opening night, since I'll get to that in a moment. But, yeah, that was my thought process. You have a chance to do something radically different with the World Title division on Monday Night Raw. and you probably won't do it, but come on, let's be real. LA Knight has earned this opportunity. He even got a meteorologist on a weather channel to go ahead and start quoting him on TV, and he even acknowledges, yeah, I'm taking tidbits from LA Knight. Yeah. So that shows you how over he is. And WWE wants to wait it out, and by wait it out, I'm going to make the assumption that they're going to wait it out until he's no longer over, because he's not over the way they wanted. He's over because he is over. And they're waiting to cool him down, probably. But heading into SummerSlam, it was reported that the Pirate Princess is planning to rejoin the company after leaving after all this time. Kairi Sane is going to make her sensational return to WWE in a few months, probably after September. Meltzer, take it with a grain of salt, said that it could be November. She's got 2 more dates in Japan. I think she's scheduled for her. She's coming back, but it won't be for a little bit. And when I heard this, I was like, okay, okay, Kairi Sane, I won my Io Sky Asuka match, or a faction with those 3, damn it. And plus, Kairi Sane coming back, that's gonna be awesome. Like, she is a great talent, and I wanted to get Asuka and Kairi Sane a fight. That would be a first time ever match, which surprises me at the fact that no one in Japan's promotions knew anything about that. Saying, wait, we have Kairi Sane, we have Asuka, why didn't we do anything with this? Now WWE gets to take the credit. And then WWE never took the credit, even though they could have done it, and even though they had an emotional plea for it. Oh man, when I heard Kairi Sane was back, I was on cloud 9. I was like, man, she was doing great in Japan, Stardom and all that, and she was doing well fighting Sasha Banks, which was awesome. Man, it would be so stupid if they did something stupid in her return. P.S. They did something stupid. There are rumblings of Nia Jax returning to WWE following Kairi Sane's reports coming out. According to PW Insider, Nia Jax's return has been bouncing around backstage. She hasn't been seen backstage, but there have been sources know that they have heard her name being mentioned of late, and I'm just like, Vince, is this because of America and all that, and you need to defeat the Japanese because this is still World War II for you, even though you were born a little bit after the war ended, but you're under the influence of insanity of a bygone era? Like, that has to be it, right? Or is this part of the bloodline stuff? All I know is that, look, I don't like Nia Jax. I felt like she burned, and plus, everyone seems to forget she also kind of blew a few whistles over WWE talent, going ahead and paying for doctor's notes to confirm they took the vaccine when they didn't, which is a pretty damning statement with nothing that followed up from that. Oh, and then she went ahead and said that this is on the level of the Ukraine war about our individual rights being suppressed because masks are evil now in a pandemic. Yeah, you see my problem here? Unless she's, like, mellowed out from all that, which is hard to imagine, okay, but there's still the whole botching stuff she's known for. Like, I'm not going to say she botched Rhea Ripley's slam attack at the Rumble, because reportedly Rhea popped her leg out and had to pop it back in at the beginning, so she wrestled for about 50 or so minutes throughout the entire Rumble with a damaged leg, which is saying a lot to her strength, and also because she's insane. So, yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah, I was just like, hearing Nia Jax is like, okay, this just happens to come out after when Kairi Sane's coming back. It sounds like they want to bring Nia back just so... I'm scared if they bring her back there for Kairi Sane's first feud, it's going to be a revenge feud with Nia Jax because of for that month period where Nia was botching 3 times in a row with Kairi Sane and nearly killing her on 2 occasions and powerbombing her when she says she wasn't ready because Nia Jax is crazy. But just remember, it was Keith Lee that needed to be seasoned up, not Nia Jax when they told the people to go backstage and go back to the Performance Center for a little bit. I still am mad about that. So anyways, SummerSlam was a super long show. SummerSlam lasted till past midnight. And apparently, this was by design, and it only went over slightly because of its original planned timings. Apparently, most of the matches were supposed to be given 15 minutes, but some went overtime, and others were given long times. Specifically, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso was the longest match of the night because, of course, clocking at 36 minutes. And the less I talk about that match in my stackness of insanity, let me just say this, the crowd was dead and they wrecked the entire rulings of the tribal combat match, but that's a different subject. So, yeah. Oh, man. It's just... Oh, God. So, yeah. That had all happened. And during SummerSlam, Roman Reigns was reportedly hurt in his tribal combat match with Jey Uso. However, there are people that were doing their due diligence on Twitter and found out that it might happen when Jey Uso landed a suicide dive on Roman's back before he could get up properly. And... ouch. It looked like that was the moment he got hurt. Plus, he did get cut open in the arm, so that probably didn't help matters either. But it was... he may be a little bit out of action. He was on SmackDown, and he did get beat up, but like kicked in the face. But considering Roman's on a part-time schedule, he'll probably be okay. However, in a recent interview with David LaGreca on Busted Open Radio, WWE superstar LA Knight claimed he had given WWE an ultimatum upon his initial return to the company in 2021, saying this: "When I first came back in 2021, I said, look, here's the deal. If you feel like I'm not getting over after 3 months, get me out of here." That's how confident I was in that just short amount of time. And I was like, my God. So, yeah. When he got called up, and he was a manager, and then they went back to give him the LA Knight persona because they thought he was too old. And I'm like, you're bullshitting me. You're royally bullshitting right here with the whole he might be too old to wrestle and whatnot. And I'm like, so why is Vince still here? In fact, why by that logic is Triple H still working backstage? Why are all these guys and gals still backstage who are like over 40? Why is Bruce Pritchard in creative? Why is Kevin Dunn still producing stuff and camera cutting all over the place? Huh? If we're going with that logic that they're too old to wrestle, even though you had Goldberg win world title after world title during a period of dark times. Seriously, I'm still mad. Revenge versus 17. It was right there. If COVID didn't happen, it was right there. You could have sold out an entire show just on that tagline. I am still bitter about that, and I'm pretty sure that will never go away. So, yeah. LA Knight is currently super over, so congrats to him. Wardlow, however, has come out and revealed that he's open to reforming the Pinnacle without MJF during Terrificon in 2023 via Fandom Spotlight. So he said this: "Dude, that would be so sweet for us all to get back together, live that Pinnacle lifestyle, and just throw it all in Max's face." Actually, no, I think I'm just gonna call Pepsi Phil myself and see what he thinks about that. We all collectively love destroying MJF and his ego. If there was a We Hate MJF faction, that would just be the entire roster. Damn. Well, MJF does seem to be mellowed out, so he might turn heel again, or, be like, do a surprise face turn dynamic with Adam Cole where Adam turns heel and MJF is a full-on face. But, yeah. Oh, there was also an update about the talent releases when the whole merger was set to be completed in September and cuts were expected. WWE goes ahead and says, "Oh, no, we're going to just fired backstage personnel, not like having mass releases of talent that we don't like. Five Select know that they have spoken to numerous WWE talents established over the past week, and they have claimed they haven't heard anything about rumored cuts to take talent throughout this year that were circulated by shoddy sources. Discussions of rumored releases also didn't penetrate backstage discord, but it being noted potential roster cuts weren't widely discussed. Let's hope they keep that attitude heading into September. Also, Jey Uso quit WWE, so naturally we must all go ahead and consider the idea that Jey Uso will be all in near the end of August, even though that is complete and utter bullcrap. Seriously, there were those who were kidding around with it, and respect to them, but there were others who were taking this like super serious, like Jey Uso legit quit on TV, and I was like, dude, that wouldn't happen. They would do that backstage and then they would gaslight them. But yeah, this isn't the Sasha and Naomi situation. And I am still trying to baffle my head around why the Bloodline did not go ahead and be like, hey, Vince, do you want to explain what the hell we just saw backstage with our family member Naomi getting pushed around and treated like garbage by you? You want to explain that? Also, what's this whole thing about how you feel like you can clone Sasha Banks? Like, you're thinking you could just make a new Sasha on the level that we had backstage with us, who was on Star Wars and DDT Boba Fett. Like Sasha's not family, but she's friends with our family members. So, could you explain to us why that might not be a little problematic in the way you just feel like you could just clone a Sasha Banks and people will try and probably push a racist card on you, Vince, even though you kind of clearly are at times with how you don't seem to like the Japanese a lot. But that's a completely different subject. So anyways, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso may not even be happening this year. Interesting segue, isn't it? So, according to WrestleVotes, there's apparently a creative force that wants WWE to delay Jimmy and Jey Uso having a match until WrestleMania 40. It's considered unlikely as WrestleMania is 8 months away, and we kind of booked the split in August and might have a match at Payback with Rikishi involved. Damn. Also, on AEW Collision during the big main event between CM Punk and Ricky Starks got pissed off at Ricky Steamboat and beat the living crap out of him. And guess what came out about that? According to the Ringer's Cameron Hawkins, a House of Wrestling podcast, there was a note that in the original finish, Ricky Steamboat was going to chop Starks, and that was going to be it. Ricky Steamboat pulls Rick and Punk into a room and then tells them the finish that we saw. And hey, you know, when to bring me on, it brought Rick to tears because he appreciated it so much. So salute to Ricky Steamboat for making a good thing, a great thing. Yeah, apparently the plan was originally that Ricky Steamboat, beats the living hell out of Ricky Starks, but yeah, Ricky Steamboat said, okay, Ricky, okay, this is kind of confusing. We both have the same first name, but like, Starks, could you, now I'm thinking Iron Man, Ricky Starks, can you beat the living hell out of me on Collision to generate heat for you? Props to Ricky Starks and Steamboat for that. The fact that Ricky Steamboat asked to be beaten down by Ricky Starks just to help that kid get over in a huge way. Damn, that's awesome. Plus, he did come out of retirement back in December to team with FDR to defeat the combined alliance of Brock Anderson, Jay Lethal, and Nick Aldis. And I'm just that guy that's singing in the background. It's like, God damn it, Ricky Steamboat, will you stop? Though luckily you said no to Ric Flair after the whole pacemaker was revealed. So, yeah, that had happened. So props to Ricky Steamboat for giving Ricky Starks that major boost. And Natalya wants to form an all-female faction. Since there is a faction renaissance going on in WWE for now, with the Bloodline, the Judgment Day, Imperium, the LWO, and partially Damage Control, So Natalya naturally wants to form a new faction. She wants to form a new faction to have Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Tiffany Stratton, and JC Jane, and saying that they would be great ideas for a faction, and I would like all those girls in the faction with me. The first ever all-female faction. The Damage Control does not exist, or Team Bad just do not exist. Like, if you said the biggest faction, then okay, fine. But there was clearly all-female factions. Yeah, man, Natalya. I'm like, you know what? At least it would make you do something interesting. I'm like, people just don't seem to care about Natalya nowadays. Like, she's a good talent, but like, she doesn't have a good character for a lot of people. I think the last time I was any interested in Natalya was when she was fighting the living hell out of Nikki Bella, and that was only because we didn't like Nikki Bella at the time a lot. In fact, no one liked the Bella Twins a lot of times. Like, some did, but like, let's be real, a lot of people didn't. So, there was also an update on NXT Europe. Remember that plan to encompass all of Europe after they just went ahead and mutilated the UK scene, and now their plan was to mutilate the entire European scene of wrestling? Well, nothing came out from that, has it? It's just been MIA. Well, according to a report from PW Insider, and back at the Money in the Bank post-press conference, Triple H revealed that in July, the plans for the brand had been delayed due to the pending merger of WWE and UFC, calling for original plans that were set to launch at the end of 2023. But now PW Insider has an update saying that there will now be a moving forward until early 2024, which is probably between January and April. That's my guess. The company has been putting plans together for a new European brand. WWE reportedly have ideas for which talented coaches will be involved. One name being mentioned as a coach, Shia Samuels, who previously performed in NXT UK and had a guest coaching stint as the Performance Center earlier this year. They also plan to open their own WWE Europe Performance Center following the launch of NXT Europe. And the company previously had a Performance Center for NXT UK in Enfield, London, but the expectation is the new facility won't be located in the UK's capital. Shocking. So, where will it be launched at? Germany? I would say Poland, but considering the current state of the world, I think that would be the bad idea. Plus, Poland's been on the receiving end of what's been going on in between the two countries, and they've gotten the short end of the stick to their frustration on 2 occasions, and in one instance, 2 people died. Yeah. So Germany, France, Italy. I'm like, I'd be all for Italy. So, yeah, all that had happened, and Impact Wrestling is also going to... Impact Wrestling, meanwhile, has revealed that there was a talent that one of the featured performers was planning to retire in 2022. However, things changed. After clear him and Ace Austin winning the tag team titles with Cher, Chris Bay revealed that Moment shaped his pro wrestling career, but Bay elaborated that he considered retiring from the sport back in 2022, saying, "Yes, I was considering retiring from the sport. I lost my heart and soul throughout 2020 to 2022. It was a struggle to get it back. Re-signing with Impact was a decision that I felt would truly bring back my passion, and I'm proud to say that it's done. That it has done that." Oh, man. I'm glad for that. In fact, I kind of been wanting to see if Chris Bay will become world champion down the road in Impact. Plus, he did join Bullet Club and got the blessing of Jay Whitehall. I wonder, now that I think about it, maybe they should bring that back for the branch, because since Bullet Club Gold's currently still getting over, and Impact does sort of sometimes have a deal with AEW at times, I would love to see the two get back together on that and have Chris Bay show up on Collision to help out Jay Whitehall and, get more exposure for him in Impact. That'd be awesome. Come on, do it. I'm like AEW gave Impact a ton of publicity with the whole world title being shown around, and Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. Even though we kind of wished for more talent to show up there, I kind of wished more Impact wrestlers beyond those two showed up there. Like, there were plenty of opportunities to do so. So anyways, WWE got sued again. And it's said to be a bizarre one because PW Insider noted that a lawsuit was filed on June 30th against WWE and the executive chairman before the United States District Court of Western District of Pennsylvania by Dana W. Whiteley, who has alleged breach of contract and failed to reimburse $5,500 down payment hangout WhatsApp email contract to a personal family with Raw Wrestling Entertainment employee Alexa Bliss. The handwritten lawsuit was also claiming Vince McMahon breached an agreement for Wiley to become a WWE employee on a $70,000 per month contract. And he also alleges discrimination on the part of McMahon after Wiley was arrested and charged for attempted homicide, aggravated assault across Newcastle and Pennsylvania law enforcement on October 22nd, 2022, or the U.S. Secret Service and Pennsylvania police troops said, what the hell? What the hell happened? Apparently this is not the first time they've attempted to sue. But apparently seeking $6 million in the reimbursement of his legal fees. Vince McMahon and WWE have not been served with the lawsuit yet. And apparently this is not the first time he's attempted to sue the Giant McMahon, and he previously filed a lawsuit against McMahon with members of the DX and the NWO, claiming he signed a fair use contract for those factions' trademarks back in 1995, but that had been ignored for 20 years. The lawsuit was then dismissed. Okay, that was just completely random. Oh, and because Full Gear is set to have their pay-per-view on a Saturday, they had to move Collision a little bit back. So, Fightful Select Press reported that AEW planned to hold Full Gear on Saturday, November 18th at the Kia Forum, Los Angeles, California. Even when airing pay-per-views on the west coast of the United States, AEW saw kicked off the shows at 8 p.m., meaning Collision will have to be moved. It's currently unclear what adjustments AEW will make to that week's show, however. So, yeah. They had discussed holding Full Gear on Sunday, November 19th, before the decision was made to stick to Saturday. Even the consideration of moving Full Gear to a Sunday led to some surprise within AEW, at the Jacksonville Jaguars having an NFL home game at the Tennessee Titans that day, and AEW have avoided competing with American football due to Tony Khan's position as an NFL owner. As been typical, AEW will hold a review edition of Dynamite close to Full Gear venue. The go-home Dynamite will be taped in Ontario, California. And last but not least, AEW has made another landmark. Yep, another landmark's been made for All In. So, finally, after months of wild speculation, mostly those who've lost their absolute collective shits, and those who have made legitimate arguments about why it wouldn't be possible, because the UK government has completely failed its citizens with the cost of living crisis. But I've only seen like a few people bring that up, and the reality is if they had used that argument, I would have totally understood. But there were others who were like, WWE is superior, and tribalism nonsense that makes me sick to my stomach. AEW has currently distributed 80,000 tickets. According to WrestleTick on Twitter, it has officially distributed 80,000 tickets with only a resale of nearly 2,000. They have reached 80K cross, surpassing the iconic 1992 European wrestling event of the UK of SummerSlam 1992 of 39,127, and that's pretty damn awesome. And the next record they are chasing is the 80,709 set by WWE's WrestleMania 32 at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And others were pointing out that, no, that's not the world record. The world record is WCW in Korea. And I'm like, you're giving North Korea the benefit just so you can hate AEW. Okay, yeah, just so we're fucking clear. Ignoring the context surrounding Collision in Korea, specifically how North Korea's government forced citizens to attend or be killed, AEW, and ignoring WrestleMania 32 context, how WrestleMania 32 said, oh no, we had over 100,000 people in attendance. Well, that was the inflated number, because of course they would do that. In fact, wrestling companies do that a lot. But yeah, the real number is said to be 80,709 by WrestleMania 32. And now we get to make the argument that All In has a chance to fully surpass it, and therefore, all hell will break loose in ways you could never imagine. The travelers will go insane, the AEW travelers will cheer and go crazy, and we will witness AEW WWE Travelers in Warfare number 645. Probably more by the end of the year, especially since October 10th is going to be AEW on Tuesday night, and that's going to lead to a night where I have to disappear from social media for a good hour or two. Luckily, I'll be at work, so I'll be safe. But yeah, we will see AEW make history. It will bring an all-in moment of pure awesomeness, damn it. And if they do not, I will be severely disappointed, and I will tweet my displeasure, damn it. But yeah, that's about it. It's nice to do this podcast again. Oh god, this was funny. Oh man. I'll be back again hopefully soon, but I'm focusing on my other stuff at the moment. I'm hoping to do more, and I'm really am sorry for the massive gap in time. Life is just a priority and an all hectic one. Sorry about that, everybody, but I'll see y'all again down the road, and I'll see y'all soon. Take care, have a good day, and peace to you and all. And also, today's my birthday, so I'm 28 years old. I'm old. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.